Testing, testing, testing. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. All right, Robert Colbert, aka your mom. All right, you can hear me. That's good. Mason, Wrigley, Abe Crack, Mitchell, Shane, another Joshua W in the house. All right, all right, all right. Iguana Musica TV, Giant P Adventures. I gotta do it for you, man. I gotta do it for you, man. We live. I just had to do it, man. I wasn't expecting to see you here. So I had to do it, man. I had to do it. Don't tell Mondo, okay? Don't tell. Oh, my God. Neo Anton, I'm at work. Just dropping by to wish you all Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas, man. It's been a long time since I've seen you in here. Hope you're doing well. Anyone else? Did I miss anyone in the chat? Television programmer. All right, what up? I think that's it. I think that is... Oh, Gold Star. Gold Star. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. Okay, let me see if I can turn that down just a little bit. Is the music level good? Is the volume levels on both me and the music good? I can hear you, Josh. Oh, welcome in, Silver Star. Welcome in. Everything sounds good to me. All right. Okay, let's go. Let's go. Actually, hold on. Let me turn that down on my end. Okay. OBS. Whoops. It's been a long time. Hold on. All right. Okay. I think we're ready. All right, here we go. Welcome back to yet another overdue live stream. Oh man, it's been what, a month since I did my last live stream? Probably more than that, I think. But yeah, I hope you guys have been good. Hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. And I can't believe we were almost at Christmas time in 5 days. Christmas Day in 5. That's crazy. I feel as if December has gone by way too quickly. It feels like it just started. Am I the only one? Am I the only one that feels like December just started right now? Oh my gosh. It's crazy. Can't believe there's only 11 days left to 2025. Thank goodness. I want this terrible year to be over. I'm not looking forward to next year at all because I don't think anything's going to get any better. Not in my life, particularly. My life, for what it is pretty good. I'm just saying in general. I'm saying in general, I don't think anything in 2026 is going to get better after the terrible year 2025 was. But either way, I'm going to continue living it as much as I can. So I'm not going to let any of that crap hold me down. I didn't let it hold me down this year. I'm not going to let it, it's not going to happen next year. The heck? The more you age, the more time goes faster, which makes growing up even worse. Yeah, that's, well, sometimes there's certain times when, like, maybe certain days or a week or a month feels like it's been going on forever. I think, honestly, the reason why December has gone, like, pretty quickly for me is because I've been doing a lot. I've been running almost everywhere, been hanging out with my god sister, and I'm glad to see that she's doing well, so that's good. Or she's doing as well as she can. She had an injury earlier this year, and so she's still recovering from that. But she's, you know, like, kind of doing stuff, which is awesome. We got to see a show together, so that was great. I have some family that's coming down. Well, they actually came down, was it Thursday? It was Thursday, right? Yeah, they came down on Thursday, and so I'm going to be able to see them this week. For Christmas. But also, I've been doing, which is gonna be a surprise to no one here, I've been doing a lot of trips to Disneyland recently. Of course I have. Like, it's literally not a shock at all. Like, it's literally the Christmas time is like the best time for me to go to Disneyland because it's so, there's so much to do. It's like peak at Disney, you know what I mean? But, like, I've been doing so many trips, and because I've been booking so many reservations, because reservations for that park book up very freaking quickly, so I had to book a lot of that, like, a month in advance, just so I'd be able to go as, very often, so it's crazy. You and your Disneyland, yes, I know, but that's just how it is, okay? That's what I've been up to a lot this month. I've been going there a lot, but also... hello, Rabbit Man, Kin Fox. Hello, welcome into the stream. But also, like, not only did I go to Disney, I did manage to go to Universal. Was that last Friday? Yeah, it was last Friday. Yeah, I went to Universal Studios after a year and a half, finally, last Friday. And I haven't been there during Grinchmas in, like, a very, very long time. I only did it once before, and so this was my second time ever doing that. And that was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. And after that visit, I'm honestly thinking, and also me being in City Walk for a while, I felt like half of my time was actually at City Walk in a way. Because obviously I was at Universal for, like, a few hours. And then, like, afterwards, I ate at City Walk, and then they had, like, a band performing at City Walk, and I stayed there for, like maybe another 3 hours or so or something, or at least it felt like it was another 3 hours. I don't know, but but that's what I ended up doing. But after that experience at Universal and City Walk, I'm thinking about possibly going and becoming a pass holder at Universal. It's not that expensive, especially considering that parking is free, and with all the passes, like after 3 p.m. you can use Express for each ride or show that has Express. So it's a good deal. I'd say it's a good deal. So I may consider doing that. I would love to go back to Universal way more often than I do. I don't want to be going only once a year. I have to go back more times than yeah. But either way though, but that's like, I think that's partially why December for me has kind of felt as if like it was going by very quickly, because I've been doing a lot, honestly. Like, I've been doing a lot the past couple of weeks. So it's gonna slow down this week and well, this coming week and next week. You know, which is good. Well, I mean, there's still a couple of things that I'm wanting to do. I'm thinking about going down to San Diego for a day to see a show, so I might do that, and then I might not. I don't know. And then there's like a couple of like Christmas type of stuff that like certain parks around here, like the South Coast Botanical Garden, they have like this light experience where they have like lights around the forest, or that's what they call it, lights around the forest, I think. And I do want to kind of go to that, so that might be something that I do at some point. So yeah, obviously with December, there's a lot to do. So, but either way, I'm still slowing down a bit. But I think that's why December, at least for me, felt as if it was going by very fast, because I was doing a lot of fun stuff. And you know what they say, when you're doing when you're having a fun time, time flies by really quickly. And when you're not doing anything fun, like say if you're at school or if you're at work, time moves very, very slowly. It's the time when you want it to move quickly, but it doesn't. That hour feels literally like an hour. It's a slow hour, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's kind of why yeah, I guess that's an explanation right there. Fact, the City Walk at my Universal Studios in Orlando was the first time I ever ate at Panda Express. This was before I had Panda Express in my own area. That's interesting. Huh. Do we have it? Yeah, we also have a Panda Express at our City Walk. We have Panda Express. I think we have a Taco Bell up there. We recently just opened a Raising Cane's at our City Walk. Like, literally, I think it was the day after I went to... No. It was the day before. It was that Thursday before I went to Universal. They opened a Raising Cane's at City Walk. Our City Walk has been getting a lot of, like, newer places to eat. They recently, like, earlier this year, they closed a lot of locations. And so they're opening up some newer locations now. They have this place called Slice House, I think, or is it Slice House Pizza? I think it's called Slice House Pizza, yeah. And excuse me. And I tried it for the first time, and it was really good, especially for the price. It's like you get like a good, if you're wanting like a slice of pizza, you actually get a good piece of pizza, a pretty big piece depending on like the type of pizza you get. And I think I only paid like, I mean, it's still fairly expensive for a slice of pizza, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I spent like roughly $10-11 for it. But again, it was a big piece of pizza. And I think their whole pizza is like $30 or $40 or something, which again, still fairly expensive, but especially compared to theme park foods, especially Universal Studios foods, it's affordable. Because I had something for their Grinchmas, which was the a can of Who Hash, which was essentially tater tots with like a special hamburger sauce and cheese sauce as well, mixed in with some cheese sauce, and also had like barbecue brisket on top. It was really, really good, but it was expensive for what they gave you. It was like, it wasn't like a bowl or anything. It was a cup, right? Like a normal sized cup, like a small sized cup, I would say. And that cost me almost 20 bucks. It was good, but that alone cost me almost $20. And instantly when I saw that, I was like, I am already missing the food prices that I get at Disneyland. Cause you could get a meal for that price. I do that a lot when I go to Disney. I go to a place called Plaza Inn and I get like their chicken plate. They give you like 3 big pieces of fried chicken with mashed potatoes and green beans and a biscuit. And that's like, at least with my discount, since I'm a pass holder, it's like roughly $20. But it's a big plate. It's a lot of food. And for me, I feel like that's worth it, especially since it's fairly high quality food when we're talking about theme park food, right? Whereas again, at Universal, you had like this smaller cup of food, which again was good, but it was almost $20. And it's like, it was good, but I don't know if I want to get it again. It was a little bit too expensive for my taste. So, you know, or at least for what you were getting, it's a bit too expensive. That's, you know, but it is what it is. I'm still glad I got it though. We're getting a Raising Cane's. It's still being constructed now. Nice. Raising Cane's, honestly, like, it's good. I think there's certain things that they could do, like, say, with their chicken to make it better. The thing is that, like, all the seasoning that you would put on the chicken is practically in their sauce. Their dipping sauce. So, you know, like, I don't know if that would be overpowering if you were to have all of the seasoning on the chicken and then you dip it in the same sauce. They probably would have to change the sauce, and I don't know if that's something they would want, or would, if anything, that anyone would want. You know what I mean? I mean, admittedly, it would probably make the chicken a bit better, because at the very least, the chicken would have some seasoning on it. Like, the chicken itself is fine, though, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, like, I do think I would like if they were to have, like, some sort of seasoning on it. You know what I mean? So that's kind of what I'm saying in that regard. Either way, it doesn't matter. Like, I do like Raising Cane's. I do like Raising Cane's. Like, I don't get it too often, but when I do get it, like, I'm always kind of satisfied. Like, the chicken's good, the fries are good. People don't tend to like their coleslaw. I don't really have an issue with their coleslaw and their Texas toast. I think that's what it is. Really good. So, yeah. Yeah, Raising Cane's is mostly a sauce place. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. So, there was a comment somebody mentioned, I think, earlier. I don't see it anymore, but okay. Sounds like I would love to try the Who Hash. Just needed to be in the Grinchmas event for it. Yeah, the Who Hash, again, the Who Hash was really good. Again, it was a nice combination of, like, you know, like, different, like, again, it had the cheese sauce and the, you know, the special secret hamburger sauce that every restaurant uses. It's Thousand Island, or a different variety of Thousand Island dressing, of course, but still good. You know what I mean? It was cheese sauce and that, tater tots, and I think it also had like some caramelized onions in it too. I think so. And it had the brisket on top. It was like pulled brisket, not like chunks of brisket, but like pulled brisket and stuff. And again, it was really, really, really good. Again, for as expensive as it was for how much you actually got. I mean, you did get like a sizable amount. I still think it could have been cheaper for what you get, for what you did get. But still, at the same time, I'm not mad that I got it. It was really, really good. Speaking of Universal, one of my favorite rides at Universal Studios right now. Um, actually, yeah, I'll talk about this and then I'll talk about the other thing. Yeah, one of my favorite rides at Universal right now is Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey. That ride is freaking awesome. It's unique. I don't know if any of you guys have been to Universal Studios or even Universal in Orlando, because Orlando has the same ride too. I think they're Wizarding, yeah, and they're Wizarding World as well. They also have Diagon Alley. We don't have that. We definitely do not have the space for it. If we did, that would be awesome. I would love to see a Diagon Alley here, but even though I'm not saying this as somebody that's a fan of Harry Potter. I've never watched any of the movies except for the first one, part of the first one, I think. So I know like little to nothing about Harry Potter, but even then, the land at Universal is freaking awesome. The ride, the Forbidden Journey, is really awesome. Like, because you're essentially on this robotic arm kind of like contraption, and it kind of basically it simulates you kind of flying on a broom, you know, kind of like how the wizards do in Harry Potter. It kind of it kind of simulates that in such a way, or at least it kind of tries to. And the way that they do it, like, it's really freaking cool. You get jostled left and right. It goes up and down. At one point, you almost go upside down because it kind of raises you up like at a 90-degree angle, because the set is almost everywhere. The way that they built the set for the ride is very cool, you know what I mean? Because you also kind of get very close to some of the animatronics and some of the set pieces, or at least it feels like you get very close to it, you know what I mean? It's just an overall really, really, really great ride. I love it so much. I was able to get on it twice because thankfully that ride also has single rider. And even though the day that I went to Universal Studios, it wasn't really busy, right? Like compared to Disney, because also that same week, talking about running everywhere, right? That same week, I went to Disney on Wednesday, and then I went to Universal on Friday. And that wasn't really initially planned, but when my my agent called me over so I could do like some more headshots with him, so we can like update our pictures and stuff like that. He lives in Hollywood, so I was like, you know what? If I'm in Hollywood, why not go to Universal? I wanted to go during Grinchmas, haven't been for a while, so might as well make a trip out of the day, which is what I did, and I'm glad that I did that. But yeah, but like the thing was that Wednesday, it was very freaking busy. The whole week at Disney, all reservations were sold out, and it was incredibly freaking busy. And Wednesday was nuts. It was insane. So honestly, Universal Studios was a breath of fresh air for me in terms of crowds, because it wasn't that crowded at all. I think the biggest wait time that I saw for any of their rides there was like 45 minutes. So the Forbidden Journey ride was 25 or 30 minutes. I think it was like 25, but I did single rider anyway, because there was also some other things that I wanted to do within the day, and I didn't have that much time. Because Universal closes at like, usually they close at 6 o'clock, which is early, but that's when they usually close. The day I went, they closed at 7, and the latest they close, I think now, is either 8 o'clock or 9 or something like that. So, you know, hey, Kawaii-mation, how was Universal Studios? A lot of fun. I was talking about, still talking about Universal Studios now, but, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I do want to become a pass holder to Universal at some point. I'll be a pass holder both at Disney and at Universal, so I have, like, you know, 2 places to go if I want to. If I want to go to Universal, I can. If I want to do Disney, I can. Whatever, you know what I mean? Yeah. Excuse me. What is your favorite Universal Studios ride so far? Forbidden Journey. Harry Potter Forbidden Journey, which was the ride I was just talking about. But yeah, that's my favorite ride currently right now. I was able, again, I was doing single rider, and single rider, at least the day that I was there, I don't know when the parks get, like, really packed at Universal. I've never been to Universal when it was very packed. I've been there when it was somewhat busy, but horribly packed? Never done that before. So I don't know the experiences of Universal when it's, like, that busy, but from my experiences of doing single rider at Forbidden Journey, it's literally like practically a walk-on. Like at most you may be waiting like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? And it's very quick. So I was able to do that twice, and I also did their roller coaster as well, which is pretty fun. The only thing about Forbidden Journey, I take a backpack everywhere I go, right? When I go to Disney, or if I go to Universal, or if I go to Knott's, I take a backpack with me, right? Mainly so it can hold my water bottle, it can hold the camera that I'm currently using, because I'm actually I'm actually getting back into doing photography. I did a lot of photos this past week at Disneyland, actually. And reason why is because I got myself a new lens. It's a 50mm lens, and that thing captures beautiful pictures. I wish Alex was here in the chat, and he can tell you, because I've shown him some of the pictures. I've posted it on my Instagram and my Facebook, because yeah, but that's what I did. And the pictures that I was able to capture with the new lens on this camera is amazing. It's literally reignited my love for photography, and I can't wait to take any more. I can't wait to take more photos. I want to go to like a garden, which I have a couple around here that I can go to, but I would love to go to I would love to go to a garden and take some like flower photos with that lens. Because I know that's going to be, mwah. Oh, you can tell I'm already getting pretty excited just thinking about that. Like, but yeah, the pictures from this camera with this new lens, and I'm going to get another lens at some point, but with this newer lens, beautiful photos. And, I don't think I have it set up to where I can show you any. I don't think so, but, yeah. What happened to Alex? He's just watching a movie right now. He's currently watching Search for SquarePants, and so he is I don't know if he's finished with it yet, actually, but he'll let me know like what he fully thinks about it. So yeah. Hold on a second. There we go. I Search for SquarePants is getting great reviews. I heard. Honestly, because of the fact that the past like 3 movies that SpongeBob has done, including the Netflix specials, isn't that the one with Ice Spice in it? Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it is. Yeah. Because of those previous movies, the Plankton movie, the Sandy Cheeks movie, and also Sponge on the Run as well, when it came to this particular film, and also learning that it was originally going to be a spin-off movie for Mr. Krabs, for like Netflix, I think, I wasn't necessarily looking forward to this movie. Like, I've kind of been burned on SpongeBob movies right now. The first movie is the best movie out of all of the franchise. The second one, it has its flaws, but the second one is a pretty good sequel, in my personal opinion. And Sponge on the Run, like, could have been better, but the writing, the comedy, the story thereof, and whatever, no, it's, you know what I mean? But, yeah. So, like, with this one, I wasn't really looking forward to it. I think depending maybe on what Alex tells me about the film, I will most likely either maybe I will check it out or I won't check it out. I don't know. I'm probably not going to see it in the theaters though. Yeah, most likely not. If I'm going to go back to the movies though, which I did a month ago, almost a month ago actually, it would be for Zootopia 2. I did see Zootopia 2 on opening night, the Wednesday that it came out at the El Capitan at Hollywood. Oh my gosh, that movie is so good. Freaking good. I'm not going to talk, I don't think I'm going to talk too much about it now, because I think next Saturday I'm going to do another live stream. And then I'm most likely going to do another live stream soon afterwards, because soon afterwards is going to be the 31st of December. And I always tend to like doing a last day of the year live stream with you guys. So I'm most likely going to do that. And then maybe I won't. I don't know. It really depends. But next Saturday, me and Alex are going to do another dual stream together. Well, not dual stream, but he's going to join me. And we're going to, I mean, I think it's not going to be the only thing we're going to talk about, but we're most likely going to talk about, we're most likely going to be talking about Zootopia 2 together. So, because it was kind of, this movie was a big deal for both of us. We loved the first movie. I haven't seen the first movie in such a long time, and then I recently kind of watched it again to get ready to see the second film. And yeah, so like I had to kind of prepare myself for it, so I can kind of remember like what the story was, what was going on, and all that, and everything. And yeah, damn, Zootopia 2, like I swear, was such a good freaking movie. I want to see it again. I haven't gone back to the movie theaters yet, but I would like to see that movie again. It was incredible. Again, me and Alex are most likely going to talk about that next Saturday. Zootopia is definitely well done, as it went past $1 billion. Yes! It also passed, the, Lilo and Stitch movie in terms of how much money it made at the box office, which makes me very happy, because screw the the Lilo and Stitch remake. I hated that movie. Like, when I say I hated that movie, I hated that movie. It was terrible. It was probably the worst movie I've seen for the entirety of 2025. It was awful. Like, oh my goodness. So yeah, I didn't good. The Lilo and Stitch remake was garbage. It was, absolutely. You agree with me. I am so glad you agree with me. Like, good lord, it was terrible. That movie will never be as great as the original masterpiece. Oh, absolutely. The original was a great film. It's like, you can watch the Lilo and Stitch movie and it holds up really well now. Whereas, honestly, this Lilo and Stitch remake, oh, it's gonna be dated in a few years because of the choices and the jokes that they decided to, and the references that they decided to put in it as well. Yeah, so, was the Lilo and Stitch remake worse than Wish? I haven't seen it before. I haven't seen Wish, so I couldn't even give you an answer on that. Just know that both of them are bad. Wish, from what I've heard and from the clips I've seen and everything, really bad movie. I think even, I forgot what rating Alex, gave it to me. Okay, alright. So Alex just finished the movie, and he already did a review on, Letterboxd, and he told me, you must read my review in your live stream now. Must. Okay. Let me let him know. Alright, so let's open that up. Oh, okay, he did. Alright. So, he gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. All right, so let's see. I wish I could bring this up for you guys right now, but I don't think I have it set up to where I can currently do that. So anyway, so here's his review of the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants. Not sure why this was released in theaters, probably because they had to pay Mark Hamill a ton of money, which is most of what the heck just happened to the, that was weird, which was most like the website just glitched out on me for a second. That was very weird. Which is most of the budget, so I'm just gonna consider this another one of those Netflix SpongeBob movies. In that case, out of the 3, this one is definitely the best one, although that's not really saying too much though. Humor isn't that funny, a lot of scenes drag on, and while it does have somewhat neat visuals at times, oh no, while it has, okay, is it the freaking ads that's doing this? Jesus, that's so annoying. Anyway, while it has some neat visuals at times, the animation would have been better if it was 2D like the first 2 movies. The 3D style doesn't really impress anymore, although I understand why they do it, less time consuming and cost efficient. Either way, I didn't really hate this. It's not really that great either, but it wasn't completely awful. The I wanna be a big guy thing was pretty dumb as a driving point for the plot, but everything else kept me entertained for the most part. But man, we are so far and away from the greatness of the first movie. I don't think we'll ever get something like that again by this point. 6, his rating, full rating, which I already said was a 3-star, but his other rating, because he has like his own like rating system essentially, and so he gave it a 6, which is in his for him a 6 is it was just it was just So he didn't outright hate it. I guess you would say that he considered it to be mid. So there was good things that he liked about it, but then there was things where he just didn't care for it. Also, yeah, I remember he told me about the plot. I actually was at Disney when he was telling me this. And he was telling me about like the main plot of SpongeBob and what he wanted out of the movie, him wanting to be a big guy. And unfortunately, it instantly made me think of that stupid Ice Spice song. Like, now I understand why the song is called Big Guy. It's such a nothing song, though. It's like, I don't like it. I don't like it. Like, I can't say I hate it, but it's also a fairly annoying song, I would say. 3 out of 5 stars is average for good, not bad either, just mid. Yeah, exactly. I don't mind the CG animation on SpongeBob. I think, like, they should have went, well, again, this was originally going to be a movie for Netflix, I think. But then they changed it to be a theatrical release and changed the main plot to be for SpongeBob. Hey Josh, how have you been? DJ Electro, welcome back into the stream. One of the things I can't stand are people who talk like everything they say has an R in it and talk softly. It cringes me out. You would have to give me an example of that because I'm not quite sure what you mean. Like they speak like that everything has an R in it. I'm a little confused with that. But either way, welcome to the stream. Oh, and Alex, a snail that reviews things, is in the stream right now. He says, I gave Wish a 5 out of 10, by the way. Although, upon retrospect, it might be a 4 because of how much of a nothing movie it was. Wish could have been better if it was 2D. Yeah, it's crazy how, like, it could have been a 2D movie, but they gave such a BS answer as to why they couldn't do 2D, which was so stupid. Like, good lord, it was dumb. And Alex, remind me, the best part of the movie was the talking animals. Not the goat, the other talking animals. Was that what you, like, I forgot if that's what you told me. If that was like the best part of the movie for you. I feel like 5 out of 10 is too generous. Well, he said he might put it down to a 4/10 because he said that he feels as though it's a nothing movie. I think I recently saw somebody's review of it, and it just made me like dislike the movie even more, I think. That song in the forest wasn't bad, had cute moments, but the animals were nothing characters too. Which song are you talking about? Are you talking about Asha's song, or are you talking about a You're a Star song? Cause honestly, the You're a Star song, yeah, it's decent. You know, it kind of has like a catchy, like, You're a Star. Okay. It kind of has a catchy, like, I guess, chorus to it. I just can't get... I can't get over the lyric that they wrote. Watch out, world. Here I are. I can't get over that. They did that just so that they could freaking rhyme with You're a Star. It's like, watch out, world. Here I are. Excuse me? I'm sorry, for somebody that, like, I'm not somebody that is a, I'm not somebody who is a, like, songwriter or anything, but it irks me. Let's just say that. It irks me to my core hearing that, okay? Oh my goodness. LOL, yeah, very bad. If you do a review on Zootopia 2, can I do a thumbnail for fun? That would be interesting. Could I do a Zootopia 2 review? Maybe. I do want to get back to making videos again. I just haven't... Partially, I haven't had the time. Alex hasn't really had too much time on his hands to, like, edit videos, as well. Things have been kind of hectic for him, too. Yeah, the goal is to try to get back to posting videos. It's definitely not going to be weekly. I could try to do weekly, but I just don't think, with the way things are, if that's even going to be sustainable for me at this point, or for us, because this is a team effort at the end of the day. Even though I could change up how my videos are, it's just you wouldn't see Sky anymore. You know, that would just be easier for me because I could just edit my videos that way and blah, 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 blah. Not that I don't like the Sky videos. It's just those take, like, way more effort to edit. Like, they're not easy to edit those. It takes a lot of time, you know what I mean? And so if I wanted to do, like, way more videos, I would just do a face cam, which is not necessarily something I really want to do, I guess. I don't want to just instantly jump to that, but I don't know, we'll see. Alex says, spoiler alert, I gave Zootopia 2 a 10. I gave it a 10 as well. Like, it was literally the highlight movie of the year for me, and also for me, in my personal opinion, spoiler alert as well, okay? I mean, there's only like 14 people in the chat, so I think there's 14 people. But yeah, but regardless, why am I blanking out? What the hell? Yeah, but regardless, I still say that Zootopia 2 was the best movie that Disney Animation Studios has made in a long time, since Encanto. Encanto was a great movie, and then everything in between Encanto and Zootopia was garbage. So, yeah. They should have just said, watch out, world, here we are. Yes! It should have been, watch out, world, here we are. It should have been that. Again, agreed. But here I are. Ugh. Anyway, let me continue on with what he said. It might be recency bias, but I kind of have, like, no complaints about it and found it to be a perfect follow-up to the first movie while also taking it a step further. Agreed. I personally like the sequel better than the first one. The first one's great. I think the sequel is just a better movie. Like, they did a really, really good job of bringing us back into this world and keeping like the same. Like, one of the worries that I had kind of going into this, well, maybe not fully going into it, but like hearing about like officially getting a Zootopia 2 movie, what scared me was how they were going to change the characters. And I don't think that any of the characters like Nick or Judy, I don't think any of them were really changed all that much, or changed in a way where their characters are almost unrecognizable. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of sequels have kind of been doing that recently, where like they just change certain things about the character, whether it's personality or maybe it's their motivations or something. They change certain things about them where it's kind of like, no, that's not the character that I liked in the first movie. No, it's not this. No, it's not that. I feel like like Judy and Nick literally were the exact same characters as they were in the first movie. Obviously grown, of course, but still, you know, like changed a little bit. And of course, over the course of the second movie, you know, they also change in other ways as well, right? And like, again, it feels like it kicked off right where the first movie left it, which was, I think, if I can remember correctly, it was like, oh, it takes place a week after where the first movie ends or whatever. And you really feel that, you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it was a full different team of people working on this movie, and Zootopia felt totally different. No, it's I don't know, I think I'm rambling, but it was a perfect movie. It was great. Zootopia 2 proves that Disney can make great modern sequels. It really does. But also what it proves, because Alex mentioned this to me and it started to make sense. The people behind Zootopia 2, right? They were the ones that were behind, I think they were behind Encanto, I believe. Were they behind Encanto? I think they were. Yeah. And essentially, that was kind of partially why this movie worked very well, because we looked up, like, I think the director and I think like the writer as well, and all the other like Disney movies that they've made, and most of their films were great, definitely in the Disney era, you know what I mean? And so it kind of just makes sense that that when it came to Zootopia 2, this film was great because of the production team that was behind this film. Whereas you take a look at some of the other movies that came out in between, like Strange World and Wish and Moana 2, not exactly. Not exactly. And so honestly, I hope, in my personal opinion, right, my hope for this when it comes to Disney is that when it comes to Zootopia 2 and how well it did, they better pay attention. Look at what worked with Zootopia 2 and stick with it. Or the team that brought you Zootopia 2, stick with them, please. Okay? I know Hexed is the next Disney animated movie that's going to come out. I think Hexed is the new one, or is it? Or is there another one? I don't know. Either way, and I'm not counting Pixar for this, because Pixar and Disney Animation Studios are different. But still, regardless, with the next animated feature film they're going to come out with, it better be a great film. It cannot be Strange World. It cannot be Wish. It cannot be Moana 2. I didn't watch Moana 2 because I haven't seen the first movie. I don't really care about Moana at all. I may check it out at some point, but as of right now, I freaking hate these cables, dude. As of right now, it's not necessarily something that is planned. It's not something I'm going to particularly do. But regardless, the next movie has to be more akin to Encanto or Zootopia in terms of storytelling and just overall, just how good of a film it actually is. It just can't be Strange World or Moana 2 or, I mean, definitely not Moana 2, because Moana 2 was supposed to only be a Disney Plus series, but then they turned that into a theatrical release. We don't need any more of those, thank you, please. We don't need any more of that, I'm just saying. The live action remake should stop, but they never will, sadly. Yeah, that's unfortunate. The expansions of the Animals of Zootopia is interesting, and actually I can't say that, but yes, the expansions in the second movie were, again, the story overall in general was really great in Zootopia 2. Yeah, again, me and Alex are going to most likely talk about that in the next live stream that we do, which again will be next Saturday. But yeah, that's how things are gonna go with right there. Excuse me. I mean, considering this is Disney we're talking about, I kind of doubt their future films are going to get any better just because of Zootopia 2. I mean, that is a very big possibility. That is true. I'm just hoping that it will happen. And again, Disney needs to pay attention because their previous well, how much money did Moana 2 even make at the box office? Moana 2 box office. Oh no, it also made over $1 billion globally. So you know what? Never mind. It may not change a damn thing. I mean, again, Moana 2 was I don't know if I can really be fair and say it was a sloppily edited or sloppily put together Disney Plus series and blah, blah, blah. I mean, they knew that was going to make billions of dollars anyway. So, like, it's a whole thing. But yeah, like, I hope that, like, if they want more of these films to make $1 billion at the box office, they really have to make them good. It needs to be stellar films. You just can't give us mid movies. That's what I'm saying. Disney will keep making live action remakes as long as people keep paying to see them. I never pay to see those. Lilo and Stitch, I literally saw in a Discord movie night, which I didn't pay for. None of us paid for it. It was free for for us in the community to see. And that probably is the only live action remake that I am ever going to see. And speaking of Moana already has a teaser out for their live action remake, and that already annoyed the hell out of me. And now Disney Plus wants to have Disney GBT. Yeah. Disney wanting to have Disney, like, Disney wanting to have AI generated content of their characters on Disney Plus is the craziest thing ever. It's nuts. I can't even, like, I can't believe that that's something they're actually doing. And knowing some of the AI generated content of some Disney characters that I've already seen, which is mainly Zootopia, where some of them are weird and slightly uncomfortable and everything like that, that's the future of Disney Plus, as it seems. And I'm not looking forward to it. It was so bad that Glitch Productions called them out on it. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. That was crazy. Yeah, like, it's honestly, I just don't see this ending well at all. And also, I just don't see this turning out well for them in the long run either. Like, I really don't, man. It's because honestly, giving that power to anyone, because here's the thing. I think it was either Bob Iger or somebody else mentioned something. Now, with this new AI tool, we can have anybody that didn't previously have the ability to create things. Now they have this tool where they can create things, so they can create their own movies or their own show or whatever. And it's like, why are we saying that as if that's a good thing? You know what I mean? Because, yeah, sure, you have to have some sort of talent in order to write. You gotta have some talent in order to draw, or to 3D scope characters, or to 3D scope backgrounds, right? You gotta have some sort of talent or know-how to compose music, and to act, and to direct, and to have a vision, and to do all these things. And yes, not everybody has that ability. I don't have all those abilities. I wish I did, but I don't. I get that. I can't necessarily draw, right? I can learn how to, I mean, I did learn a little bit, self-taught how to draw when I was in high school, because it was something I kind of wanted to do. And from what I did draw, I did some good stuff, you know? It was like mainly basics things and whatever. But yeah, honestly, I think if I stuck with it, I could have probably been a fairly decent artist, I think, right? Kind of wish I did. But that's the thing. If I wanted to draw something, I'm not going to go into AI and be like, okay, let me create a generated bunny that looks like Sky and has a yellow spot, a black spot on his eye, and blah, 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 blah. Hey, I created something. No, I didn't. I didn't create squat. I just typed in a prompt, had the computer do all that crap for me, and boom, that's it. That's not creating anything. Just plain and simple. If I want to draw, I'm going to learn how to draw. It's like photography, for example. I can't just pick up a camera, just point at something, click a picture, and be like, ooh, this is great photography, and blah, blah, blah. I can sell and make money with this, and da-da-da-da-da. No, I had to learn the basics of composing, or learning, like, what kind of lens to use, or how to focus the camera, how to get the proper exposure in order to really have a perfectly lit picture. You know what I mean? Or with these videos, I had to learn how to edit my videos in order to create content. You know what I mean? Like, there's a human element when it comes to learning things and doing things yourself, instead of just having the computer do absolutely everything for you. And so when you give people who are not remotely interested at all in wanting to actually create a drawing, or in order to create music, or to learn any of these crafts, and you just say, hey, I'm gonna give you this tool to essentially create whatever you want just by typing words into a prompt, is that really something that everybody should have access to? Because if you've seen some of the AI-generated stuff online, I would have to say no. I would have to say no. I don't think everybody should have access to that. Everyone having the ability to create stuff now just because they can type words into a text board or a text box isn't really, I don't think it's the greatest thing. And some people, of course, to defend AI will always be like, well, there's people with disabilities who may not be able to have that, so you're being ableist. But there's a lot of people who have disabilities who may not even have hands. They are still able to create art. Art that AI is just not going to be able to generate. There's people who literally paint pictures with their mouth. They hold like a paintbrush because they don't have any hands, or maybe they don't have any arms, right? I've seen it online. Real video, not AI generated, where they will have a paintbrush in their mouth, and they navigate in such a way in which they're able to paint a picture. They're able to figure things out. So like when people use that kind of like excuse, it leaves a nasty taste in my mouth, because it's like, it's not even remotely true. It just isn't, okay, guys? So, but that's the thing. That's the thing. I'm gonna explain to you a video that I saw 2 days ago while I was at Disney, and that was that's the future that we may expect to see on Disney Plus. I mean, obviously, let's make this clear though. Let's make this clear. Obviously, when it comes to Disney, And they're going to be licensing like over 200 of their characters that you can use in this AI generation that they're also going to post on Disney Plus and everything, right? Obviously, they're protective of these characters, and they're going to have restrictions on what you can even generate with this new program, right? So you're not going to be able to make anything. Obviously, you're not going to go on Disney Plus, and you're not going to see this particular video that I'm about to describe. And you're not going to see corn. And you know exactly what I mean when I say corn. I'm not going to say the actual word, but you're not going to see corn of these characters on Disney Plus generated. Definitely not. Okay, that's not going to happen. So obviously there's going to be restrictions. We don't know how much is going to be restricted necessarily, but there's going to be restrictions when it comes to Disney Plus on their characters and such. But I saw a video while I was at Disney 2 days ago, and which is actually very fitting that I saw it at Disney. Fitting, yes and no. But here's the thing. There was a video I saw on Instagram, and I showed this to Alex as well. And actually, let me double check. Has he messaged? No. I don't know if he's still in the chat though, but if he is, he can confirm this. I saw a video on Instagram, and it was a AI generated. I mean, some of you guys may have seen it. It's kind of all over YouTube. I don't know if this particular video was on YouTube, but so many people are making AI generated videos of Judy and Nick, and it's honestly crazy. I've been listening. Yes, okay. It's honestly crazy and honestly scary just how like these AI generated videos are. Like, they look sometimes they look very close to the official animations, which is nuts. And same with the voices, because the voices are obviously it's obviously AI generated versions of Nick's actual voice, Jason Bateman, and Jennifer's voice for Judy, right? And a lot of times they will either make like cursed content on YouTube, or sometimes it would be, hey, let's generate Nick and Judy actually being a couple. There was a video I saw where this person generated like multiple clips and kind of compiled it into like a movie or something, like a 10-minute movie or whatever. And it was basically Nick proposing to Judy Hopps and they get married and blah, blah, blah. It's all over YouTube. I've seen so many of these. It's crazy. But this one takes the cake as the craziest video I've ever seen generated. And again, I saw that on Instagram. It was Nick rushing to the hospital, or at least he was already at the hospital, I think, but he was rushing to the hospital room where Judy was, and Judy was getting ready to give birth. She was already pushing, right? And Nick was worried, and he's rushing over to not miss the birth of their child, right? But by the time he gets there, Judy has already given birth, and she's holding on to their kid, or to their child. And you want to know what Judy gave birth to? Judy Hopps gave birth to Eevee, the Pokemon Eevee. I'm dead serious. I'm legitimately serious. That apparently is the child that both Nick and Judy created, was a goddamn Pokemon, and it's Eevee with purple eyes. That happened. That was awesome. That was awesome. All right, we got some technical difficulties here. The microphone fell over. That's crazy, because I literally thought that I had that balanced. But that was awesome. Okay. That was the greatest thing that's happened in the history of the stream. Is it disconnected? No, it's still great. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Yeah. So that was what happened, and it made me freaking throw away the freaking microphone. I'm not even mad at that. You know what? I'm not even mad at that. That was freaking hilarious, okay? That was hilarious. Bro was so frustrated that his mic didn't even want to hear it. Oh my god. I'm glad nothing broke. Nothing's broken. It's still working. It's still, yeah, we're all good. But yeah, like, that was literally the craziest freaking thing that I saw. Like, when I was watching this, and thankfully no one was, I mean, it wasn't like, it wasn't a, excuse me. It wasn't like a gory video or a graphic video or anything. Like, obviously you weren't seeing her, you didn't see her actually push Evie out. Like, obviously Instagram was not gonna allow that, of course, right? But that's the thing. You saw like her face and she was grunting and squeezing and blah 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 blah. That's what you saw, but you mainly saw like Nick running to the you mainly saw Nick running over to the hospital room because he wanted to be there, and then you just saw her holding Evie, and they're like, oh, we have a baby together in this Evie, and it's like, but when I was watching that, like, literally my entire face the whole time was like, I was like, what is that? It was crazy. It was like literally the craziest thing that I've seen. That's the kind of stuff that people create. And again, a lot of it is also, let's create, hold on a second. There we go. Wanted pointed towards me. Yeah. What's also a lot of things that people create is mainly just like videos of Nick and Judy essentially, like, just like, oh, it's cutesy moments with each other, like, oh, we're a couple now, and or oh, we're I'm proposing to you, or oh, let's kiss, or let's whatever. Like, nothing like too offensive, but still kind of like strange. That's a lot of stuff that people are generating with AI. And so I can imagine that's probably what we're going to end up seeing. We're going to end up seeing that on Disney Plus at some point. Just a bunch of people generating Nick and Judy being a couple. It's just going to happen. Even though the interesting part is what they said, is that even though a lot of these videos that you're going to see on Disney Plus, the AI generated stuff, which I would assume, I'm going to assume the way they're going to do that, because I was actually watching another live stream, like, I think a couple of days ago, or a few days ago, and they were talking about this as well, about, like, Disney Plus and AI and all that stuff. And what they were mentioning was that what they think Disney is going to do is similar to Sora. Whereas with Sora, you had like this app, right, that they created that was like similar to Instagram. No, it was similar to TikTok. It was essentially a TikTok app made by Sora, and all the videos you see of it are AI generated content, right? And so what he predicts is that Disney Plus is going to have essentially the same thing. Maybe not a separate app in particular. But basically it's going to be like a, it's going to be like, I guess, like maybe a section on Disney Plus where you kind of click on it and it's like, hey, here's all of the AI content, or Disney Plus AI or whatever. Maybe that's what they're going to call it. You click on it and you have all of these episodes of characters that people generate, of videos that people generated and blah, blah, blah. Or if you want to create your own video for people to see, click here and type it in and blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Like, I predict that that's what Disney... I predict that that's what Disney's gonna do, but that's what the guy predicted, because, like, when he said that, I was like, you know what, that makes sense. That's probably how they're gonna introduce it. So, it just wouldn't shock me. But I don't know. I feel like this is not gonna end well. At all. I feel like it's not gonna end well, and I really think that... I kind of, honestly, I want this to bite Disney in the ass. I really do. I want them, because, I mean, especially since they put like $1 billion into it, I hope they don't see that money back. Just straight up. The $1 billion that you spent to open AI for this, I hope you do not see a dime of that back. Okay? It needs to be a waste of money, and it needs to make you guys realize, oh, this was a very bad investment. Oh, this was not a good idea. I want that to happen. Okay? Because yeah, it just needs to happen. Honestly, like, if any other company does this, same thing. Just going into AI and being like, yeah, let's create AI generation of our characters and let's let everybody do that and yada yada yada. That needs to bite all of these companies in the ass, just straight up. All right, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go cook. Go cook. Tell me in the DMs what you're going to, or maybe tell me in the chat, what are you going to cook? I'm very interested in what you're gonna make. And you better send me a picture of your food, okay? Fight the AI, Josh. Do it. Oh, I will. But that's my personal opinion when it comes to, teriyaki salmon with white rice. I don't know, something simple. I need to get me some salmon, dude. But that sounds delicious. I will be right back. I'm gonna get me some more water. And, then we're going to talk a little bit about the merger, because I know that people have been talking about Warner Brothers and Netflix merging. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well in the stream. So, yeah, but I will be right back, so don't go anywhere. Just stay put. Stay put. All right, be right back. And okay, I thought I unmuted that. What the heck? That was weird. Okay then. I'm not hearing any music. Okay, no, the music's back. All right, good, good. All right, let's go back to. So yes, what were we talking about? Netflix and Warner Brothers. That was a very interesting honestly feels like every day since 2020 just feels like an episode of South Park. You know what? Let me ask Alex. Alex, do you oops. That's assuming that he's not in the chat. No, he's not in the chat. Okay. I just want to see what he says. Hate that I still have this cough. Yeah, my Thanksgiving, quickly before I talk about the merger. Thanksgiving kind of sucked this year because which was literally the day after I saw Zootopia 2. But I did not feel great on Thanksgiving, so so I ended up getting a cold that week. It literally started that Thursday. I was fine Wednesday, but Thursday, like, I just did not feel good. So I wanted to go and I wanted to, see some family, but I couldn't do that. I had to stay home, which it is what it is. You know what I mean? I still ended up ordering some Chinese food for me. Some pretty good Chinese food, except for the barbecue pork. Like, that was, unfortunately, like, it was not really cooked the way I like it being cooked, especially since there was like a lot of unrendered fat, and it was like, yeah, no, it was like that just no, please. But either way, like, it was pretty good though. The Chinese food was good. Did you watch TV when you were sick? Yeah, I did. Watch the parade and watch some specials, of course. I would have loved to have just decided to cook for myself, but again, I wasn't feeling the greatest. I didn't feel like terrible necessarily, but it was bad enough that like I just couldn't go out and hang out with family. So yeah, but again, it is what it is. Sometimes you get sick on Thanksgiving and there's nothing you can do about it, you know? That's all I can say there. Warner Brothers keeps rejecting Paramount's offers, and recently the Saudis have pulled out of the proposal deal. Paramount buying Warner Brothers is seeming less and less likely. That's a good thing, and let's talk about that. So, one, I think it's crazy, and I wish I made a video about it though, but again, things just weren't, like, it's a whole thing. Actually, hold on. Did Alex simply... So I asked him, do you agree that every day since 2020 feels like a South Park episode? And he says yes. So who was the one that mentioned that? Shane. He was the one that mentioned that. Yes. You're correct, and Alex agrees with you on that. I only asked Alex because he's a really, 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 really big South Park fan. So... I wanted to know if he agreed with that or not. Does American television still air Charlie Brown Thanksgiving? Honestly, I wouldn't know. I don't think so, because I think Apple TV has the rights to that stuff. So it's kind of like the Charlie Brown Christmas special. I don't know if they air that on TV anymore. I think that's just purely an Apple TV streaming service thing now, which sucks. And no, I'm not going to create an Apple TV account just so I can watch that. I'm just not going to do it. I wish they could air it on television, but streaming. Either way, he says on PBS. Okay, so maybe they do still air that on. I was surprised. I wasn't even trying to look for it one day, but they still air the How the Grinch Stole Christmas animated special on TV. Granted, it is edited though because you gotta make way for ads and blah 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 blah. But still, I was happy to see that. Because that's literally like one of the best adaptations of The Grinch. I think the musical that they have in San Diego that they do is also a great adaptation. I love that show. The NBC live version that they did in like 2020 or 2021, bad. I'm not a fan of that. They messed up the show. The Jim Carrey movie, I was literally watching some clips of the Jim Carrey movie, like maybe 30 minutes before I started actually no, an hour before I started streaming. And like, that movie is so freaking weird, but it's a great, it's a fun film. It's just, it's so odd. You know? It's like, it's a weird freaking movie. Like the way it's filmed and the characterization of the Grinch himself. I mean, Jim Carrey does an incredible freaking job, but the Grinch is insane in that movie. Either way, though. Either way, in my personal opinion, the Jim Carrey movie was so weird, but in a creative way. Yeah, I will. You got it. You do have to give it that. It was incredibly creative. But then you have the Illumination movie that came out. When did that movie come out, by the way? I like to say it was 2018. Yes, it was 2018. I got it right. Okay. But yeah, you had the Illumination film that came out in 2018, and that one I think is the worst adaptation. And that's because the Grinch in that movie is purely not the Grinch. I can't watch that movie and think, yeah, that's how the Grinch would be. Yes, the Grinch would totally act like that. Yes, the Grinch would totally say that. No. It just, and there was a scene that I saw earlier, I remember, where, and I told Alex about it, and I was like, yeah, see, this is just not the Grinch. It's not the character of the Grinch at all. There was a scene where he was stealing Christmas presents, I think, or was he getting ready to steal presents? I forgot where it was, but maybe he was training his reindeer or something. I don't remember, but what I do remember was that he was like talking about like a Christmas present. He had like a box and stuff. I think he was trying to train like Max to hate Christmas or whatever. And there was this moment where he looked at the present, and what you saw was that he actually wanted to open the present, and whatever was inside was a toy, and oh, he wanted to play with it. What was in the present? I actually want to open this and participate. And then he was like, nope, actually, no, I don't want it. It's evil, it's blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's not the Grinch. I don't think that's the Grinch. Because that, when you show me that, right? Because we know the Grinch doesn't like Christmas for a lot of reasons. And even in the Jim Carrey film, there's more reasons why he doesn't like Christmas. We know that. But the thing is, he hates everything about Christmas, right? But in the Illumination film, it seemed like the only reason why he didn't like Christmas was because he was excluded from celebrating Christmas as a young little Grinch, when he wasn't really that excluded to begin with. Because in the Jim Carrey movie, at the very least, right? At the very least, he was made fun of around that time. He was bullied by the other Who's. And so you understand why he hates the Who's down in Whoville. in that movie, right? And you also understand why he hates Christmas, because it just brings back those memories of him being hellishly bullied at that age, at a young age, right? Like, yeah, the Grinch was weird and everything, but he just wanted to fit in, just like everyone else. But the mayor, or I forgot what the character's actual name is, but pretty much the mayor as a kid was a massive bully to the Grinch. Yeah, you can understand, again, you can understand why he hates the Who's and Christmas in general in that film. And also the commercialization of Christmas as well, because don't forget about that speech that he made about commercialism, essentially. But in the Illumination film, he's an orphan. He was in an orphanage and nobody was there to celebrate Christmas with him. So he leaves the orphanage and he walks around Whoville. And he walks and looks around at everybody else celebrating Christmas. Not once do you see any of the Who's looking at him with disgust, nor do you see any of them laughing at him, nor do you see any of them be like, why would we ever want a thing like that to be a part of our Christmas celebration? We don't see that at all in that movie. We see the Who's being fairly nice and just celebrating Christmas like usual. In fact, I think in that movie, him as a young little Grinch could have just walked up to one of the Who's, maybe asked about what Christmas was or something, or asked if he could join them or something, and they probably would have proudly said, oh yes, we'll bring you in. I literally feel like that could have happened in the Illumination film. And because of that, when I watch that film and I see him wanting to take away the presents and destroy the decorations and do all of this stuff, it doesn't really make sense to me, because it's like, do you really hate Christmas at all? Or is it just that, like, you always wanted to be a part of Christmas, but you weren't, and for some reason you want to destroy it for everyone? Like, to me, it just didn't make sense. I made this comparison where it's like, it's almost as if it's Mufasa, the film, right? Where you take a look at the ending of that movie, you see how Scar is, spoiler alert for anyone who didn't see the movie, but honestly, who cares? Spoiler alert, Scar is very apologetic to what happened in the movie and the issue that he caused and everything. And even when Mufasa was like, I'm never gonna call you by your name again, I'm gonna call you Scar from now on, right? Because that's how angry I am at you, and yada yada yada, or disappointed, right? And even then, Scar excuse me, even then Scar was still apologetic, and he understood why his brother wouldn't call him by his name anymore because of everything that happened, right? So tell me, how is it that that's how Scar is at that time, whereas then you go to the Lion King movie, the actual movie, and he wants to kill his brother so he can become king? We don't see that connection. We don't see that connection at all between the prequel movie and the original film. Or let's not even say the original film, because that's not the prequel movie and the live action remake. Or just in the story, in the grand scheme of the story, when it comes to the Lion King, there is no connection to Scar being, oh, I'm sorry, Simba, I will never do that again, blah, 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 to, I want to kill my brother so I can overthrow him as king. I don't see that. So that's how I kind of see it with the Grinch here, where it's like, how exactly is the Grinch this character that hates Christmas so much, he wants to destroy it, and he wants to do all this stuff, but in the Illumination film, and I'm only talking about the Illumination film, there's not much reason as to why he's doing this. You know what I mean? And that's the biggest turnoff that I have for that film. There's not much of a reason as to why he does anything. And it's just stupid to me. So, obviously, as you can tell with the 2018 film, I was not a fan. I don't hate the movie. It's just, it's incredibly mid. That's what it is. Animation, of course, is good. Like, I don't think we can really say too much about Illumination animation style or whatever. Their animation style is fairly pretty good for what it is. You know what I mean? So that kind of goes without saying. But yeah, the writing, the characterizations of both the Grinch and Cindy Lou Who as well, not great, not great. And overall, the movie is just meh. You know what I mean? So that's how I see the Grinch. Yeah, the Grinch on Illumination feels too basic and took all the personality off of him. Yeah. Also, Nostalgia Critic pointed this out, but it's very true. In the movie, he's supposed to, like, even when he's introduced, you see, you have the song, "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile." The Grinch has perfectly white, straightened teeth. He don't have no damn termites in the smile. What are you guys talking about? I know you're singing the song, but why are you showing us a Grinch with perfectly white teeth? Like, what? It's stupid. It's stupid. Like, it's not a big deal, but it's like, you guys do not even have the basics of the Grinch right. Ugh. The lyrics aren't lyricking. Exactly. Like, good lord. But yeah, it's the movie. I would be fine with never seeing it again. I don't really make my way out of trying to watch it, to be honest. I haven't even really seen it on TV anywhere, so I don't know if they're even airing that film though. But yeah, it's a mid movie. Do you know that the narrator in the 2018 version is voiced by Pharrell Williams? Yes, I do. He also sung the song in that version too. So yeah. The Lorax at least had memes. The Grinch just came and went. Yeah, I don't think many people really talk about that movie at all. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about a little bit about the merger. Is there still... I'm guessing the gardeners are still out there on another lawn. Anyway, it's crazy that Warner Brothers is being sold in general. You know what I mean? You wouldn't think that I'm pretty sure Tyler the Creator performed the Grinch theme in the Illumination film. You know, honestly, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's Pharrell. I don't know if it's Tyler the Creator. And quite frankly, I don't care. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't care. It's the Illumination Grinch movie. I don't care who did it or who didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that to go after you. I'm just saying it's like the movie is that mid that I don't care who did it. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, going back to it. Hold on. I think Alex just ooh. So he did like salmon, like he kind of cut up salmon into chunks, and I guess he air fried it and put it on top of like some rice. That looks so good. I don't know why I don't do that. I got an air fryer. I could literally do the same thing. I always bake my salmon in the oven. I mean, I kind of do like a recipe with it. Like I do like a lot of spices and rubs on it. So it's a different situation though. But I may want to think about air frying my salmon at some point. But anyway, let's get to a little bit of the topic. Warner Brothers being sold. It's crazy because honestly, like, it's crazy how, like, I must remind you that during the past 2 weeks, 2 voice actors from Nick had recently, yeah, the guy who did, Doug Dimmadome, Doug Dimmadome and some of the other characters that I forgot, but He did Doug Dimmadome. He passed away. And the day before that, Sheen, the voice actor of Sheen and so many other characters, also passed away. That was incredibly freaking sad, man. Like when no, it was the same day. It was the same day, I think. Yeah. It was so sad. I was like, man, what is this week? It was crazy, but yeah, rest in peace to those two. I'm gonna be honest with the what the F is it with everyone dying this year too. Yeah, a lot of it almost always seems like at the end of the year that's when a lot of people tend to pass away. You know what I mean? So yeah. I mean, I unfortunately have known plenty of people that have passed away around November and December, around this time, the past like 3 years. Yeah. So, Jeff Garcia hits more because Sheen made Jimmy Neutron special and how he was so young. I mean, yeah, seriously. And he recently voiced Sheen in like a Nickelodeon game. I forgot what it was called, but he did recently excuse me, he did recently voice Sheen after a certain amount of years of not voicing him for a long time. And it's crazy. This like now after this long, you know, like he finally voiced him again, and then now he's gone again. I mean, no, gone again, but now he's gone. You know what I mean? So yeah, like rest in peace to him. Like that just hurt to hear that. It was called Dice of Destiny. That's what it was. Yeah. And they got so many people. They got so many people back, voice actors from some of their previous cartoons back to voice their respective characters in this game. So I have to check it out. I don't know if I'd play it. I don't know if this computer would be able to play that game. I don't even know what kind of game, if it's a PC game or if it's a like PlayStation or what. I don't know. I don't really keep up with video games at all. So yeah. Either way, yeah. Before I get sidetracked again, it's crazy how like Warner Brothers is a company where it's getting sold to another, or it's crazy that it was up for sale anyway. But like that's the thing. Like I think Warner Brothers has always been kind of unlucky, I guess, because it seems like throughout a lot of its lifespan, the people who are running it has just been running the company to the ground. It just feels like it. It feels like for example, obviously Warner Brothers Discovery. That was not really that was a terrible merger. It didn't even last for 5 years. That's the crazy part about it too. So that's one. But second, you even have like the AT&T, and that was also a big problem. And AT&T, well, obviously, like, there was a lot of debt within that as well. And AT&T took on a lot of debt, you know, taking up that company as well. And it was a huge problem. And I don't remember too much about like Time Warner and stuff. I don't know all of the like the whole history of like the buyouts of Warner Brothers and the people running it. It's just like, it just seems like it was not, there's barely been any situations in which like any company that's gotten Warner Brothers has really been like a great one for Warner Brothers itself. So, which, you know, if anything, knowing that Netflix has, you know, is basically in agreements to acquire Warner Brothers, right? I'm not sure if it's gonna be that much better for them now, right? Like nothing seemed to work necessarily. I would hope that it would. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if Netflix will be the right partners for them. I would just have to hope so, because you know, you don't want to see a company like Warner Brothers being destroyed by the people running it, which has been happening in the past couple of years with David Zasloff and all that stuff. But still, like, you know, it's Excuse me. It's been like, I think, a crazy roller coaster essentially for Warner Brothers. But who knows? Maybe Netflix is the partner that they truly needed, and maybe things will get better for them once they're merged with Netflix. I don't know, or bought out by Netflix. I can't say for certain. A lot of people have their worries, of course, which makes sense. Like, it makes sense why people have their concerns, especially with how Netflix views theatrical releases and stuff, or theatrical runs. Like, they keep wanting to say that, like, oh, movies in theaters are not really consumer friendly, so that's why we don't do theaters and stuff. Like, we mainly just put things in on our streaming service because that's more consumer friendly, whatever. Which, if anything, in my personal opinion, like, I think they should just continue doing theatrical releases, because exactly what do they have to lose in order, to do that? Not only that, but see, my throat just getting scratchy. But not only that, but like, technically movies gain more money in the theaters, right? Especially a huge blockbuster film, they're gonna gain more money in the in theaters. And so for me, I think it just makes more sense to do that. Now, I don't know how films make money necessarily. I mean, well, you do have ad-supported tiers on Netflix. That does exist. And I kind of tend to forget that they exist as well. Because I don't do let's just start that over. There we go. But yeah, I don't tend to do like ad supported. I mean, the only ad supported app that I have currently right now is Paramount Plus and Hulu. And even with Hulu, I might be merging that with Disney. Well, I mean, I think that's gonna happen anyway, but but I don't have ad supported on Netflix. Is it more cost to my wallet? Yes, it is, but at least I don't get ads. Look, ads are annoying. I can handle them when it's on television, but if I'm watching something on a streaming service where previously there was no ads, I want to kind of keep it that way. You know what I mean? And so, and especially if we're talking about a movie, I don't want movies to be interrupted with ads. And the thing is, I don't know if that's what happens in movies. Like, again, because I don't watch movies on ad-supported platforms. Do they interrupt films with ads? That I don't know. Again, if it was TV, it's just expected. But if I'm going to click on a movie to watch, I want to watch it throughout and not necessarily with ad breaks. I guess you don't like ads on streaming. No, I do not. I do not. But like, but that's the thing though. But with those ads, they do generate money. I would assume that ads generate money. I think for the streaming platform, I would assume, but I think it would also generate money for like the shows that you're watching or the movies that you're watching, right? But the thing is with that, which is the question I'm asking, is like, does it remotely generate as much money as, say, what a theater would generate money for a movie for? You know what I mean? Like, when you see movies going into like the theaters, and sometimes they reach $1 billion at the box office globally, yes, but still $1 billion, right? So it does kind of make you question, though, like, do streaming services do that for any of these films or for any of these movies? I don't know. Like, if you premiere something on Netflix, can it remotely make an equivalent of $1 billion at all? Like, yeah, it may get a crap ton of streaming minutes, and that's how they measure, how many people are measure how much the movies or shows are being being watched by streaming minutes. But does that generate close to millions of dollars or $1 billion for any of these films? That I don't know. I'm not sure if anyone really has like a full-on answer for that. Maybe they do, but I literally have no idea for that. So, but my thing is, I feel like if movies still make way more money in the movie theaters, then keep it at movie theaters, at least for a certain amount of time, so they can make that money, because movies are expensive, especially like Disney movies where they can be over like $200 million, right? If the movie is that expensive, put it in the theaters. So at the very least, you could have a chance of making that money back. You know what I mean? So that's my personal opinion. And then obviously after the movie, after it's done on the done with its theater run, put it on your streaming service. You know, I think that's just what they need to do. Don't shorten theatrical runs. Like, just have it run for as long as it does. If it continues making a good chunk of money in theaters, then keep it in theaters until it's not making that much money anymore, and then put it on your streaming service. That's my personal opinion. I think that's just how that should work. Netflix co-CEO claims that they've changed their stance on theaters after gaining Warner Brothers. We'll have to see if he keeps his word. They claim Warner Brothers will still be making theatrical releases as before. I mean, I did see that. I did see that. Like, they did mention that they were going to continue doing theatrical releases. But I think I saw somewhere that was only going to be for a certain amount of time, that they were going to keep doing that. Or at the very least, I think they were going to, like, shorten theatrical releases or whatever. I don't know. But then again, maybe they will change, like, fully change their minds on that and say, you know what? Yeah, we'll keep these movies in theaters. Because, again, I personally think it would just be a benefit to have them in theaters and to have them on your streaming service later on. You know what I mean? Not to mention that this is just a fact, okay? Watching movies at a movie theater is just a completely different experience than watching it at home. Obviously, yes, there's certain annoyances that you don't have to deal with. You don't have to deal with annoying guests who may not be quiet, or they may be throwing stuff, or they may be just annoying as hell, right? You don't necessarily have to deal with that if you're watching it at home, at least with like some friends or whatever, where you're legitimately having fun. And yeah, you're also not paying like 25 or 30 something dollars for a movie ticket, which for some people could be like, meh, you know what I mean? So I get that, but at the same time, the experience of watching it on a giant screen with some movie popcorn in the movie theater with like surround sound, and even with some other audiences, it makes for a very fun experience. I watched, again, Zootopia at the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood, and that was an awesome experience. It was a lot of fun, and it was an opening night for like fans to watch it, and so everybody was kind of decked out in Zootopia attire. There was a lot of people dressed up, kind of like Nick and Judy, and they gave every single one of us on that night. We also did get free popcorn and free drinks as well, which was cool. But they also gave us all Judy Hop ears. And then the next day, when it was a fan event, which was probably more or less the same thing, they gave everybody Nick ears. So that was very cool. Did I ever take those ears off when I was watching the movie? No, I didn't. Did I bend them back so it wasn't blocking anyone's view? Yes, but I kept them on the entire time. I didn't even feel them on my head. It didn't feel like I was wearing anything. So it was kind of that situation. But a lot of people kept them on, and again, it was big fans of Zootopia that were watching this. So watching that movie with really big fans of that movie was awesome. So, yeah, honestly, I think, like, again, just keep movies in theaters. and then eventually put them on streaming. You know, like, I think it would just be a benefit for everyone, and just a benefit for the movies in general. And especially in Netflix's case, since you would be owning Warner Brothers Studios, right? Or just Warner Brothers in general, at the very least, you would kind of reap the benefits too of like movies going into theaters if they're very successful, obviously. So that's just how that goes. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how this all turns out when it comes to Netflix and Warner Brothers, you know, working together and doing all that stuff. It's going to be incredibly interesting. The Warner Brothers label is still going to be a thing. They're not going to get rid of it. It's going to be, you know, but yeah. But what was crazy throughout all of this is that Paramount was really, and again, I saw some people talking about this in the chat earlier. Paramount was really trying incredibly hard to acquire Warner Brothers, right? They were putting up like high bids and high like shares per shareholder or whatever, however you say it, or something like that. They were doing a lot of stuff. And I think it blew up in their faces when they saw that Warner Brothers was going with Netflix. Because even when they said, we're going to go with Netflix and we're in contract negotiations and blah, 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 Paramount was already, Paramount, yeah, I know, whatever. They were already essentially saying, hey, we're going to now do a hostile bid. So we're raising up our bid. And just recently, Warner Brothers said, no, we're rejecting your bid. We're with Netflix right now. And it's crazy. It's legitimately insane. It's kind of like, one, I don't know why you guys are still trying. They clearly don't want to work with you. It's very clear. So just give up. And two, and this is how I see it, you guys already merged with another company. You merged with Skydance. So why are we trying to get another company? I know it's because they want to try to be a huge conglomerate or a bigger conglomerate than what they already are. And they want to essentially own way more. I get that. It's a money thing. It's greed. It's a lot of trust me, I get why they are doing this. But you just merged. And I don't even know necessarily how the merger with Skydance is performing for you guys right now. I literally don't. I haven't been following much of this news. People have been saying it's been really bad, but like, I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention. But like, you literally just merged with Skydance, like what, earlier this year, I think? So, in my personal opinion, I think it would be a terrible decision if Warner Brothers were to go with Paramount. Not to say that Netflix would be a much better choice, but at the same time, as of now, it's looking like it is, you know. But dude, it's just gotten it's crazy. And then the CEO kind of just being a massive crybaby about the fact that he lost the bid. That's crazy as well. The Skydance merger was not the best so far. If you can tell me, like, if you can give me some details as to, like, what's making that merger not great, I would love to know. Again, I haven't really looked up anything about this, so I don't really know the details. But yeah, it was legitimately crazy, though. Now, what's even crazier as well, Comcast, right? The reason why I'm bringing up Comcast in this particular conversation, because they were a actually, hold on, let me, there we go, because I feel like I'm a bit too close. Comcast also was bidding to be they already canceled Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and the Door reboot. Yeah, that's true. I did hear about that earlier this year. But yeah, Comcast also just wanted the studios like Netflix. That's true. Yeah, they were a bidder in this. And did they really fight that hard to get it? Not necessarily. But what I found out, which is more for theme park news, if anything, Warner Brothers is actually looking to Comcast right now to potentially license some of license DC, their property DC, to Comcast, particularly for Universal Studios, right? So they're thinking about like licensing to Comcast. So like, I mean, I think that's, let me kind of look that up just a little bit. DC and yeah, so so Warner Brothers is exploring licensing DC rides to Universal Parks. So it's not something that I think is actually like fully confirmed, but that's currently what they're looking at right now, which is very interesting because they already have like a licensing deal, I think, with they already have like a licensing deal with like Six Flags. And so it's interesting that they're kind of thinking about going to Universal now, which is probably maybe a better deal because, you know, Six Flags is Six Flags, right? Whereas with Universal, that's a bigger company with a lot more money behind it. And they can kind of create, I mean, look at what Universal did with Harry Potter, right? If you see, like, say, Epic Universe, for example, and you see the land based off of Fantastic Beast, and you just take a look at how expansive and how immersive that land is, and same with Wizarding World of Harry Potter at both Orlando and Hollywood, and Diagon Alley in Orlando, and I think they have one in Japan. Do they have one in Japan? I think so. But either way, when you see like what they've been able to accomplish with these lands and how immersive they are, it kind of makes sense that Warner Brothers would say, hey, we may want to see a Gotham land or some other kind of land based off of our DC characters come to life at a theme park. And we're not going to get that with Six Flags. Universal, I think, can do it. Maybe we might consider giving them licensing deals for DC. You know what I mean? So, or a good example, the Nintendo license is really insane too for Mario. That another good example too. Super Nintendo World at both, or at all three places, at Epic Universe in Orlando, Hollywood here in Universal Studios, and Japan, right? Those lands are great. Ours is the weakest one of the three because you know, we don't have a lot of space in Universal Studios here. So because of that, excuse me. So because of that, it's smaller, right? Our land is much smaller. The other two lands have like 2 or 3 rides. They have 3 rides, yeah, because they have the Super Mario Kart ride. They also have the Yoshi Land, or not Yoshi Land. They have the Yoshi ride, and then they also have the Donkey Kong Kart ride. We don't have that. We don't have the space for that. And not only do they have the Donkey Kong Kart ride, they also have a Donkey Kong Land in those 2 other places too. So there you go. Ours is the weakest one, but either way, for as small as our land is, it's still incredible to look at. Absolutely. It's beautiful. So when you take a look at what Universal has been able to bring to life with these franchises, it makes sense that they're going to look at Universal and say, we may want that for some of our DC products. You know, like they may be like very excited for like that kind of opportunity. You know what I mean? So it's kind of cool that that's what they're like considering. But that's the thing, like I just find that to be kind of like interesting, you know what I mean? Comcast was kind of in the bid to acquire Warner Brothers, but they ended up like not doing too much to really get it, and it's going to Netflix. but Universal may still end up winning out in some sort of deal with Warner Brothers, acquiring DC licensing for Universal rides. You know what I mean? I'd say in a situation that's still a win-win, because Universal definitely wants to oomph up their theme parks, right? They really, like, even, you know, at Universal here, we are getting a new roller coaster. We're getting a Fast and Furious roller coaster. And I saw that last Friday. That thing is insane. Is legitimately freaking insane. Like, the tracks on that thing is crazy. If you see the testing footage of that ride, but particularly with the cars rotating, it's an insane freaking ride. It's nuts. Am I ever getting on that? Absolutely not. I am not a thrill seeker. A big roller coaster like that is just not my forte. But even if it was a spinning coaster where you're also getting upside down and whatever, no thank you. It's not something that I am going to partake in at all. But, you know, like, Universal recently has been, like, doing more investments into their theme parks. Again, take a look at Epic Universe. Like, Epic Universe was a huge investment that they had to make, which opened this year and has been doing fairly well, as it would seem, to the point where they're already starting on working on some sort of expansion. Because that's the thing, like, Epic Universe, the way that it was built, they've already have, like, I think in each land, they already have, like, an expansion pad. So if they wanted to build, like, maybe another attraction or expand any of those lands that they currently have, they can. So they already kind of had that planned out, and I think they're already starting on, like, one area, or they're starting on, like, getting ready to maybe work on one area already. So, like, that's currently what they're doing right now. And not to mention that Universal is also building a kids resort land in Texas. That is currently being built, and that's on track, I think, to open sometime next year. So that's like a whole big thing too. And even more news as well with Universal and their theme park company right now. They're going to be building a park in the UK, in Great Britain, I think. I think it's the same area, but in the UK, they're going to be having a theme park built over there. And so Universal is really doing a lot of investment right now. So I think that was probably very enticing for Warner Brothers when it comes to their DC property. You know what I mean? So it just makes a lot of sense. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, it makes sense on how Universal is likely doing on the DC license. It would not shock me in the slightest if they come up it wouldn't shock me if they come up with a deal. If they both, like, shake hands and they're like, yep, the licensing is going through and we're fully going to work together and do this and yada yada yada. It wouldn't shock me at all. So it would be very, very cool when that happens. If Universal gets the DC licensing, it won't miss the remaining Marvel characters when they inevitably go to Disney when Universal's Marvel license expires. Yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. Yeah. I mean, because technically if they, well, I don't know if they would fully want to do that, but technically if they wanted to, they probably could just, like, do an overlay of the current Marvel land that they have in, Orlando at Universal. And kind of just change it to DC licensing. If they wanted to do it that way, they probably could. And also, because of the fact that Universal has the rights to Marvel currently in Orlando, that's exactly why over here in California Adventure, we were able to create an Avatar. Yes, we are getting an Avatar Land 2 here. But that's why we were able to get a an Avengers campus, a Marvel land here at Disney. Even though I think it sucks. Even though it is getting an expansion, so maybe the expansion, they're currently building it right now. So maybe the expansion at that they're currently working on at Disney is going to make the land much better. The land as it is mid. I don't really visit it at all, so it is what it is. But still, that's why we were able to build one here, whereas in Walt Disney World, they cannot build a Marvel land of any kind at their park because of the deal that they have with Universal right now. So that's why things are the way that they are. So yeah, the more you know. Hey Josh, did you have a Hollywood Rip Ride Rocket in your Universal Studios? It sadly shut down and got demolished. No, we did not have. We never had that ride here in Universal. In fact, the only roller coaster that Universal had for a very long time, I think, I can't necessarily be fully sure about this because I'm not like the biggest know-it-all when it comes to Universal Studios here, but the only roller coaster that Universal Studios has had for a long time, I think, was the Mummy ride, which still exists today. And now we have the Gryffindor. I think it's based on the off Gryffindor. It's a Harry Potter roller coaster, and basically a family coaster and such. So that's what we currently have, and again, it's pretty fun. And now we're getting like a huge freaking Fast and Furious roller coaster. That's Universal Studios Hollywood's biggest coaster that they've ever had, and the most thrilling because it's got inversions. It launches like 3 different times, and the cars are spinning, and all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot that kind of goes on with that ride, and why I will most likely never ever ride it. So yeah. Yeah, it's not the most flattering because the light's on this side, but it is what it is. I think I'm going to end the stream very soon, actually. We hit the 2-hour mark. And my voice is getting a little tired. It always, for whatever reason, my voice gets tired when I'm doing these streams. I don't really get it. That makes sense is to see how Universal Orlando has Marvel and not Disney World. Yeah. It was nice talking to you again. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I would have streamed a lot sooner. But again, there were a couple of Saturdays where I just had stuff that I was doing. And then also I was, you know, like still kind of recovering from a cold at some point. So that's why I wasn't really able to do a lot of streams. But yeah, we are going to have a stream next Saturday. And most likely Alex is going to be able to join in with us again. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, but we're definitely going to be talking about Zootopia 2 as well, because he has a lot to talk about when it comes to that. And I think we're going to do a spoilers stream maybe, and then maybe we won't. I don't know. Like we may, yeah, it depends. I may ask later on in the week possibly, or maybe that stream, if it's gonna be like a spoiler free review or if we're gonna talk spoilers. I don't know. But do watch out for that. And also I'm not fully sure if I'm going to, but I do plan on doing a last day of 2025 stream on the 31st, of course. So we'll see. I'll keep you guys updated when it comes to that. Because it could happen and then it might not happen. I don't know, but we'll see. Hopefully I'll see Zootopia soon this week. Hopefully you do. Hey man, how are you doing today? I'm doing good. I hope you didn't just join in the stream because I'm actually ending it right now. so, yeah. Hopefully you've been listening in, and if not, you can just rewatch some of the stream. Gosh, yeah, this lighting is not doing good. I should just get me some lights for the stream because I hate that when the sun starts to go down, it becomes like this, and it's yeah. But anyway, that's it for me today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for joining in on this stream. I almost didn't go live today though, but I had the time to, so I didn't end up doing anything today, so I stayed home. So I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do a live stream. We were originally going to do a live stream with Alex today, but we both forgot, and so it's like, in order to make things work for both of us, we'll do it next Saturday. So yeah. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining in on this stream. Thursday is Christmas Day, and so I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa, or whatever holiday that you celebrate throughout this time. I hope you guys have a great week. If you're still in school, I hope you have a great winter break. And yeah, I hope you all have a good rest of your night as well, and a good weekend. So, Robert Colbert, Abe Crack, 1 2 3 4 5 7 6 3 6, because I am not saying that meme. Kawaii Mation, Sonic and My Little Pony fan, Mache, Mason Wrigley, Iguana Musica TV, Silver Star, Gold Star. I think that is everybody in the chat. So thank you guys so much for joining in. I will see you guys next time. I don't know, next Saturday. Definitely next Saturday. So take care, everybody. See you guys next Saturday. And remember, you're hearing it. Come on, music, start. There we go. You're hearing it from a regular bunny in a regular world. Peace out. Thanks for watching. See you guys next Saturday. Take care, everyone.